How's my sound? Sounds
fantastic.
It does?
Mm-hmm.
How about now?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
How about now?
Yeah.
Oh. I'll go sleep now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You know, last night, I haven't been sleeping very well the last few days. Usually it's because when I have some stuff where I'm getting kind of creative, all of a sudden my mind can't shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Or it also happens to me when I've started getting like in really good shape. When I start getting leaner, then all of a sudden I get way more energy to the point where when I was competing bodybuilding, when I was about a month out and real lean, sometimes I sleep just 1-2 hours a day. And I had more energy than I ever did when I was sleeping more and heavier. It goes to show you how much and what kind of a liability that fat is on your body. You don't realize it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've been waking up in this past week, like 1:40, 1:30, I came back to sleep. Anyway, when I was trying to go back to sleep, I started thinking about when I used to bounce in Newport Beach back in 79, 80. Were you even born then?
No.
Oh, shit.
I don't even think I was a thought yet.
Anyway, in the club that I bounced in, when you walk through the door, on the left-hand side, there's like this big aquarium, like a fishbowl. Mm-hmm. And as you know, the name of our podcast is The Fishbowl. And I think about the metaphor that fishbowl to me represents. But it seemed like it got clearer when I started thinking about that aquarium that nightclub had. And the thing that I remember the most was, just so long ago, I remember they used to put piranha fishes in that aquarium.
Why? Why would they do that?
Well, you know, I'm 21, 22 years of age. I really didn't ask that question. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking that, I saw them like eat. There were like other fishies in there that were swimming around.
Other fishies in there?
Yeah, minding their own business. And these piranhas, have you ever seen piranha when they go into a frenzy?
No.
And it's like traumatic in a way. I mean, when they go and eat, they'll eat whatever's in front of them. They eat it to the bone within seconds.
Wait, do fish have teeth?
Well, I would say yes, or maybe
just piranhas.
No, believe it or not. Now that you said that, I don't like to fish.
And you don't like to fish?
No.
Okay.
And the reason why I don't like to fish is because I don't like taking the hook out of the fish's mouth when I catch it. I'm a sissy that way. Mm-hmm. And I think I got bit by one.
I highly doubt it. They don't have teeth.
Are you sure?
I really don't think that they have teeth.
Okay, so do you have your phone?
You gotta hand it to me, it's over there.
Why don't you see if piranhas have teeth?
Well, I think they do. Well, I don't know if all fishes do.
Why don't you see if piranha have teeth?
Okay, let's see.
Because I'm very curious. I mean, they could be, maybe they're shaking their head so fast when they get that little their enemy or they'll prey in their mouth, maybe they're not chewing them up. Maybe they're shaking, like a dog shakes when it has a cat in its mouth.
Piranhas are known for their razor sharp teeth and relentless bite.
Relentless. See?
Do all fish? I need to know.
Yeah, let's find out if all fish have teeth.
All fish have teeth.
See? I got bit that one day. Fuck it. No wonder I was scared of fishing.
Swimmers like goldfish hide their pearly whites near the back of their throat.
There you go. That's why I got
Similar
traumatized.
To shark teeth. Wow.
Yeah, I got bitten by a damn fish.
That's crazy.
It changed my life forever. I hated fishing after that.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
What the heck? Oh my gosh.
But so last night, going back to waking up in the middle of the night in that aquarium or that big fishbowl, all of a sudden it was like that made sense to me as far as how I think life is. When so think about this for just a moment as it relates to our lives. Okay, think of yourself being in this giant fishbowl.
Yes.
You're inside, but looking out.
Big aquarium.
Fishbowl. And that's your life. And you're just swimming through life, right? And you're swimming pretty easy and everything's chill. You find friends in there, other fishy friends that you make friends with. And then all of a sudden, it seems like the water starts getting maybe a little bit murky or it's getting a little harder to swim. And then that fucking piranha comes out of nowhere and just eats your ass. And then I started thinking about that and I thought, sometimes life feels like that. Is it actually like that? Probably not. It's how we are responding to that. But nevertheless, it feels like at some time that, all of a sudden it's like everything is going wrong and I'm just getting beaten up, maybe not eaten up, but beaten up. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I think the fishbowl is. And that's why I think that life is like a fishbowl, because as you go through life, I'm a lot luckier than you are in some respects because I'm way older. And so you're experiencing life in a much different way than I've already experienced. And I see things in.
Very true.
Right? Mm-hmm. And
what's our year difference?
Well,
how old are you?
You can't tell by looking at us that we're this many years apart.
How old are you?
65.
And I'm 28.
Really? What happened?
So
did piranhas get you?
So that's oh my gosh. So then that's 35.
You want a calculator?
Well,
it's that far apart.
How I'm thinking, how I'm thinking is I go to 30, and then how much is from 30 to 65? Right. It's 35, and then add 2 years onto it, so it's 36, 37 years apart.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
can you imagine?
Lived a lot.
I've lived a lifetime. Double your life.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I can tell you things like, it's not if life is going to kick your ass, it's when. Mm-hmm. And it's going to happen more than one time.
And it never gets easier?
Well, actually, in a way it does, because it's like, experiences that you have. Like the first time that it happens, you're thinking, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Even though in most cases you don't die. Uh-huh. Even though you feel like you're getting eaten alive by the piranha, whatever that may be. But you end up making it, and it's like, as bad as that was, I didn't die. Uh-huh. And to think that that's never going to happen again is living in la la land, because it is. Things will just continue happen to you throughout your life.
And it's not one thing, it's another.
Seems like. And that's that fishbowl of life, And again, sometimes the water in your fishbowl gets real murky. You can't see where you're going. And then all of a sudden it's like, and and the thing about it is when it does clear up, while you're going through it, it kind of seems like forever. Like this is dragging on forever. Everything slows down. It's like you're feeling every moment of that nightmare that you're living, which is kind of interesting. And I find it ironic that it gets like that, because then it seems like all of a sudden, even though you've gone months and months and maybe years that you're dealing with something, but then all of a sudden you start getting light, and then all of a sudden you're everything's clear. And it's really interesting that once you get into the clear and things are going well, that stuff that you're really enjoying seems to just fly by. It flies by so fast. Why doesn't that part of it slow down? I've asked that question before. And yet when you're going through shit, it slows way down. It's like, okay, who made this? Who set this guideline to where, was it because we need to feel this and make sure that we learn a lesson or something?
I think that's a mindset. Because if you are going through some really great stuff and you're trying to appreciate every moment of it, then it doesn't go by as quick as if you are just in the moment, just kind of enjoying it, and then it's over. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
Say it again. I wasn't listening to you.
Oh my gosh. So think of something that is really awesome that you've gone through, something you've gone through that's been really awesome. Now, were you just sitting there and like, oh yeah, living it up, having fun, this is great? Or were you sitting there and stepping out of your body and thinking, this is so amazing. I'm going to really savor and appreciate every second of this.
Yeah, I think I've done that.
Okay, see, then you probably would have, it would have been
slow down?
Yeah, it would have been a longer process.
Maybe you should remember that and tell me how that goes.
I have done it before, and it's fabulous. Works out very well. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You should try it.
I'll try that.
Yeah.
So do you want to get something out of the fishbowl to talk about?
It's behind you.
That didn't answer my question.
Yeah, it's behind you. So you have to grab it.
Here.
Oh, I get to choose today.
Yeah.
So much, sir. Let's see. I actually had one that went away. Which one? Right or left?
Okay.
Why are you not losing weight?
Oh. I am.
No, it's for the people that are listening. Why are they not losing weight?
Well, I'll tell you what. I have a boatload of experience on that because I'm 35 years older than you and a former world-class bodybuilder.
That you are.
And even to this day, I can produce and reproduce results. So why don't you think that most people are losing weight?
One, I think that they aren't motivated enough. I think that some people think it's going to be harder than it really is going to be. So they don't even get started because they already think that they're going to fail at it.
So they give up before they even start?
Yes.
What does that say about that person?
It can say a lot. But I mean, I try and think of people who have like a lot of weight to lose. And I think just thinking of the journey and how long it's going to be and how long they're going to have to make some sacrifices. And if they're not really educated, they're going to think that these sacrifices are huge, like the ones that society's made it out to be. Like, you can't eat any fast food. You can't have bad food. You have to eat all healthy greens and vegetables and meat. You know how society's made it out to be that way. You have to do a lot of cardio. You have to do a lot of working out. Your whole life has to be based on that. I think some people think that is how their life is going to have to be. And the more weight that they have to lose, they're just thinking this, I'm going to be doing this for years and years and years. So they just
that actually is true.
I feel that's true.
You have to make it a lifestyle. And you hear that all the time about making it a lifestyle and user-friendly. So, I mean, for those people, are they just better off just not even trying to begin with? Because what you're saying is actually what has to happen.
Yeah, I think a lot of people need to just get education when it comes to what their goals are, because somebody who really enjoys to go out and eat with family on a weekly basis and somebody who really enjoys having that glass of wine every night, if they're sitting there like, oh yeah, no, there's no way I can lose weight because of these reasons. Well, no, you can. You just have to know how to work around those things and make it a lifestyle. Like, for example, I know somebody who says that they drink too much to lose weight. And, that doesn't mean you have to stop drinking, but you can count your calories and you can make it work for you, Okay,
so I agree and disagree with you on one thing. I don't think that you said that they need to be educated. And I think it's more than that, because I think there are a lot of small small. There are a lot of smart people that are out there that are educated, but they still can't. And then we're just using right now, in this instance, dropping weight. But you can cross, these different paths that people are on, different industries that you're in, and they're very educated about something. Rationally, they understand it, but they cannot be successful, even though they're educated and they logically they know what they should be doing, and yet that's not enough. So, what do you say to that person? I mean, because you're saying, and I.
Well, there's multiple people. So there's the ones that are educated.
Let's just talk about those people right now. Okay, what do you say to the person that's educated and they rationally know, and how they read and they understand it on a level that they know what to do, but yet they still don't know what to do, and they don't follow through.
Well, it's the same thing that you taught me. If there's enough pain or pleasure, that'll make you move. So if they're comfortable in their skin, then maybe they don't want to make any sacrifices that they just don't want to do.
So that's where these people they get offended and about, when people talk like us, talk about weight so much, like they make a big deal out of it. It's like, well, you're saying this, but because I saw this with a girl on Instagram, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like, she's offended and almost turns it around and says, you're offending me because you're fat body shaming me.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Uh-huh.
And I should be okay with it. And I have a hard time with that. Mm-hmm. Because my inclination, and I'm sure it has to do with my background and the sport that I was in and all that, and getting in that kind of condition. My thought when they say that is that you're using it as an excuse. And maybe that's being mean-spirited when I'm saying that. But, I mean, I have an opinion just like anybody else does. But it's like, really? I mean, are you really okay with that? Are you really okay with the way you look? Or have you rationalized it in a way that you let yourself off the hook?
Mm-hmm.
Because I see it, to some degree, as lack of respect for yourself. That's how I see it.
I could see that. But I can also see how some people use food in a negative way, like as...
like comfort food?
Yes, comfort food, emotional food, boredom, stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So I think that if food is a problem in that area, that makes it even harder for them. You know what I mean? Because then they're having to get themselves mentally stable to even start losing weight. Because when they get in those emotional little moments, they're going to go in the refrigerator and they're going to want some kind of comfort food to make them feel better. So when they have to lose weight, they can't do that. And then they're going on a whole different road than somebody who doesn't have that problem and is trying to lose weight. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do. And I'm going to explain something to you in a different way. Because for me, again, what you're saying, to some degree, people are addicted to food.
Yes.
Okay?
Oh, very much.
Yeah. And so I can more relate to, I mean, I love to eat. There's no one that likes to eat more than I. I've been up to 310 pounds. And I use bodybuilding as my, when I look back at myself at 310,
mm-hmm.
I was fat. I mean, I was carrying a lot of muscle, but I was fat.
Yeah.
Carrying too much body fat. But the thing that I got really addicted to, cigarettes. OMG. And I'm that kind. Here's the type of person I am. I've always felt, and this is my athletic background, warrior mindset, because you build a warrior mindset when you've been an athlete for lots of years. You have to, because you're constantly facing adversity, and it really goes up and down. And so I've been always someone who always knew that I had the will to overcome anything. In this case, we're talking about cigarettes or nicotine.
Yeah.
And son of a bitch, man. I did not realize how addicted I was to nicotine. I even found out that being addicted to nicotine is actually a stronger addiction than being addicted to heroin.
What?
Yeah, it's a true statement.
Wow.
And it really didn't bug me. I started smoking. I mean, look, when I was growing up, my grandparents, everybody smoked. when I was younger. Grandpa, we'd steal my grandpa's cigarettes to, just to mess around with them, not knowing how lethal that stuff really was. I mean, we'd take a puff and you'd be coughing all over the place. You'd make you sick.
Yeah.
But even like when I got into high school and college, and I was an athlete, that's where I got addicted, was in college, COS. But when you're 20-something years old, you're going, I can give them up whenever I feel like it, whenever I want. Mm-hmm. That was already a form of denial.
Yeah, you think you're invincible. What happened to you?
It's like, I can give it up when I want. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
And besides, got to die for something. That's that mentality when you're young and invincible.
Yeah.
You don't think about that, right? But what it really hit me was when I had kids. Because I didn't want my kids seeing me smoke. And it was so weird because at this point when they really understood, I mean, I wouldn't smoke in front of them anyway, around them because of secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where I would like go in the bathroom, to hide, to go smoke. And I'm thinking, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's bad.
I'm a grown dad, a father. But that's where I really realized that I didn't have enough will to overcome my addiction. I mean, I tried it. I threw cigarette packs, full packs away. I go, today's the day. I'd throw them away. And about day 3, I was either hunting for those cigarettes that I threw away, or I'd go back and buy another pack. And my addiction it made it even worse because I was like freaked out because I had been, it's like a withdrawal.
Yeah.
I did even more. Instead of smoking half a pack, I'd smoke a pack. It got worse when I tried to use will.
Uh-huh.
And I tell you, when I got successful, the most successful, giving them up is when I gave into it. Instead of saying I can will this, I said I'm addicted, and this has got me. I surrendered to the cigarette, in other words. But here's what I told myself, and I'm just wondering if this is something that can be a tactic that you can use with people who have problems with weight loss. Okay. That's kind of the point I'm making in a long ass story. But when I said that, here the thing I said, okay, but I at the heart, I really do want to stop doing this. I know now that it's not good for me. I can feel it in my breathing. At this point, because I've been a smoker for a while, I can tell that I was a smoker that way. And I surrendered. And I have to tell you something. When I surrendered and I said, but I didn't say like, okay, I'm overtaken by this. There's nothing I can do about it. What I said, I think that was really important was that, but I really do want to quit. At my heart of hearts, that is, I'm being very honest about that. Mm-hmm. But I just can't do it right now. And when I took that approach, I bet you I gave up cigarettes within 2 weeks.
Huh.
So I find that a little bit interesting. It's almost counterintuitive.
Kind of like you
I gave into it.
Found the problem. Like you thought it wasn't a problem, and then you realized that it was a problem, and you found the problem, and you were able to acknowledge it.
And I was addicted to it, and I was, it had me. But I did want to quit someday. I really did, and I really meant that. Mm-hmm. And as it turned out, and within a couple of weeks, I gave it up. So I wondered, like with people, I wonder if that tactic would work, and just said, look, I think sometimes we're just not honest with ourselves. We say
we don't see it. We're in denial. Mm-hmm.
That's, being dishonest to yourself.
Yeah.
And we use that, and we keep using that. I think denial is probably a major culprit. Have you ever been in denial?
I don't know. Because I was probably in denial. I don't think I have, because I've been really good at seeing my situations for what they are. So I don't think I've been in denial. And I've had to pull myself out of them. So if I was in denial, I would have never been able to pull myself out of a certain situation. So I don't think so, but I guess the only way to really know is you'd ask people that were around me during times.
When I totally gave up, now when I had that moment, I gave it up, and I went for years not smoking. Mm-hmm. And then I started again. And
why?
I hadn't fully, I don't know why, but I just know that I had a weak moment. It just happened to take longer than before when I was like saying I can give this up anytime I want. And I use another tactic. And I'm wondering if people that are having trouble with weight loss and food, their relationship with food. Mm-hmm. I learned this actually, and it's a training, it's a physiology fact that your body adapts to an environment, like when you're doing weight training. It adapts to an environment within 21 days. It starts that adaptation process. Mm-hmm. Okay? So now this is when I gave up now cigarettes for good. I've never been back since. When I got married the second time, and we both smoked, and we both said we have to quit. So what I did is I remembered that physiological fact that it takes about 21 days before your body hits a plateau, starts hitting a plateau, okay? And then you make a change to get more result. Mm-hmm. So what I did at that point is with cigarettes, they have these cases that you can put cigarettes in. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You can put 19 cigarettes in that case. So what I did is I had 19 cigarettes. I think a pack is 20.
Okay.
So I put 19 in there, right? The 20th one I smoked. So I smoked the whole pack. Or I had 19 here, and I smoked it. That was my beginning of me giving up cigarettes. Uh-huh. So what I did is I smoked 20 cigarettes a pack for 21 days.
So you smoked one a day?
No, I smoked 21 a day, a pack a day.
Oh, okay.
At day 21, I cut my intake down by 1. I smoked then 19 a day for 21 days.
Oh, okay. God, that's a long time to do that process.
And when I got down to, so I did that for every 3 weeks, I would take one out of my little case. When I got down to 3 cigarettes a day, I gave up cigarette smoking, and I've never been back since. Huh. So I wonder now how we can apply that to, I mean, I'm sure you can apply that. How would you apply that to somebody who's got a negative relationship or destructive or toxic relationship with food? You see what I mean? Would it be maybe just reducing their caloric intake by just
a little bit? Yeah. That's how I would do it. That would be the best way to do it.
And the interesting thing was,
like by 100 calories.
Yeah, so you don't really notice it that much.
Yeah, because you won't notice 100. You'll notice 200. That's like a snack. You won't really notice 100.
But I still think at the end of the day, it has, the person that makes that, they have to state a goal and make that commitment here at the heart.
Yeah.
To give it a fair shot to follow through. Mm-hmm. And there's different ways to, back in the old days, my days, they used to have these places called chic centers. You ever heard of this?
No.
Now, here's how they made those people quit. Totally different. You'd go into these places, and you're addicted to cigarettes. They'd make you smoke cigarettes back to back to back to back to back to back until you got sick.
I think that would totally work for me. That would totally work for me.
So maybe having somebody just eat until they, you know what I mean?
I've done that.
Until they fucking couldn't breathe.
I've done that because, I've done some really strict dieting, and then I've kind of been good, and I've stopped, and then I've really enjoyed some food. And then there was a point where it's like I was really enjoying food. So I really did that. I just ate way too much to the point that I knew I was making myself sick. I didn't want to eat anymore. And then after that, I did not want to gorge anymore with food because I didn't want that feeling that I was getting, that overly stuffed feeling. So that's how I control myself there. Or if I'm noticing I'm starting to want more food, then I fast for a day or two to stop whatever little habit I'm starting to want to bring back.
Like break a cycle?
Yes. Because every once in a while, I'm like, God, I want this and I want that and I want this and I want that. And there's not enough time in the day to give me everything that I'm craving right now. And then when I start to feel like I'm getting in that spot, but I'm like, tomorrow's a fasting day. I'm going to fast tomorrow to just nip it in the butt and stop what I'm starting to feel.
I think that old saying is nip it in the bud. I mean, Maybe that's an old saying in my time. Maybe your version is a new one, modern.
No, it might
Nip it in the butt.
They sound the same, really. But same thing. Apple, orange.
My motivation with food, because food's always, it's still, I mean, I'm kind of like that person that can, and I've seen myself do this, I get myself down to a weight, and all of a sudden I start creeping back up, and next thing I know.
So you get there too.
Yeah. It's like, so I think I've talked about this before with training. Bodybuilding taught me a lot of stuff. I mean, without sports to begin with, that was like a foundation that built this mindset, had that. That helps. Bodybuilding taught me way more just because it's relentless.
It's more challenging.
Relentless.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to compete at that level, it's amazing.
Because you're competing against yourself. You're not competing against anybody else.
It's so amazing.
It's just yourself.
I was never so hungry as I was when I was bodybuilding. To the point where I would be so crazy with hunger, I'd have to go walk.
Oh, yeah.
And get away from food. And because it was just, in fact, I thought one time when I was getting ready for a show, Tom, Platz, I put myself in his hands.
Uh-huh.
And, again, I made that, I said, whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do. I made that commitment.
Uh-huh.
Oh, fuck, man. He had me at about a month out, he cut my calories down to 1,000 calories a day. Mind you, I'm someone who's competing at 200 pounds. That one was 230 pounds. So I'm not a little person.
Yeah.
My body needs, and I'm doing cardio and you know what I mean? And I'm eating 1,000 calories a day, and I had a month to go.
Oh my gosh.
I seriously thought I was dying. I did. In fact, I was at the gym, my other gym. I told my trainers, I said, I have to go home because I think I might be dying.
Oh my gosh.
It's a weird feeling. And I went home. That was a crossroads moment for me because I was certain I wasn't going to make it.
Wow.
Have you felt like that dramatic?
I haven't gotten to that point.
Oh, I doubt that, Carol.
No,
I happen to know you.
Point. But I've gotten to the point where I swear I could have eaten bark off a tree.
But that one moment that I had where I went home, I had to go sleep because my sleep was my entrance to dying.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
And you tell me I'm the dramatic.
I know. Now that I'm talking about it.
I mean, I've been so hungry where I go to bed because I just can't think about it anymore, and then I can't sleep because I'm so hungry. So then I don't get any sleep.
But
I've done that stuff.
But I went home that day. I went home in the middle of the day. I thought I was dying in the middle of the day.
Uh-huh.
And I went home. I went to sleep. I woke up the next day, and I never had that feeling again. In fact, all of a sudden, it was like I didn't need to eat. I had to force myself to eat. It was like some kind of a crossroad breakthrough moment where I just wanted to eat so bad, and I was dying till the next day. I did not have to eat anymore. Something switched.
That sounds like somebody who's fasting for more than 3 days. Because the first day, you're thinking about it. And the second day, you're starting to get hungry and your stomach's growling. And then the third day, it's a little bit hard, but you're getting better and you're starting to keep yourself focused on other things. You're not constantly thinking about, oh, it's time to eat. Oh, it's time to eat. Oh, I should be having breakfast or lunch or dinner. And then the fourth day, you're just like, meh. And the fifth day, you're meh. And the sixth day, and then you just stop. And I remember on the seventh day, the only reason I started getting really hungry is because it was a freaking holiday and everybody was eating around me, and that is not good to do. You want to stick somebody who's fasting for 7 days around family and food. But I got through it. But you know what I did do?
What? Put a hose on your mouth, turn water on?
I was dying. I really needed it. So
here we go. Here comes the drama.
I was. So
I knew that.
I took, I think it was potato salad, and I got a little bit on a fork, and I put it in my mouth, and I chewed, and then I spit it out and rinsed my mouth.
I've heard people do that shit.
It worked. I mean, I just needed to taste it. And that's what I did, though. And then my family was laughing at me because I spit it out, but I didn't just spit it out. I had to rinse my mouth just to make sure not one little piece went down my throat. And then I was like, I'm good to go. I took a bite of a burger, chewed, spit it out. That, chewed, spit it out. And I was like, good to go. I'm good. And then I grabbed some water and I walked out and everybody was like, all right. But I did it. Went 8 days without eating. How many people can say if they've done that?
Probably not many. So, we're talking about the original question was, why do people not lose weight?
Because the stuff that we're talking about. They're like, oh God, I have to do that? No, you guys don't have to do that. That's just us and we're stupid and crazy.
So, which brings me to, again, training bodybuilding, because I realized through bodybuilding, if anybody that's ever done bodybuilding, serious, but not bodybuilding where you do for a week, you said you're bodybuilding, not that kind of bodybuilding.
Yeah. I mean, I was getting ready for a show and I was doing it for more than a week, but that was a ramp to like make my body move.
Okay, so
it did, though.
in this example that I'm using, okay, when you're living truly a bodybuilding lifestyle, mm-hmm. and you're doing a bodybuilding regimen, the routine that you do becomes so monotonous, you could kill yourself. It's so boring. So if it's boring to the bodybuilder, because what happens in the industry is that most people, they're constantly changing their workout because of boredom. And of course, that's counterproductive. You have to actually, as a bodybuilder, you have to be in a training regimen and you have to do basically the same workouts, because you get a staple of workouts, a core group of exercises that you do over and over, and it becomes mindless. And yet, think of this dynamic: is boredom. You're putting yourself through fire. You're in pain. You're doing it to yourself. You can't change it. And you have to make every rep count.
Yeah.
You see, this is why bodybuilders are really sick in the fucking head, because it's that relentless. And so right there is when I started learning that motivation has to be greater than the obstacle. And this is getting back to this question: why are you not losing weight? Mm-hmm. But my question is, and this is where I think that this is where most people are, because at the first of every year in January, people are they're going to renew their goals, and they got fire in their ass, and they're back in. And when you take a look at the stats, New Year's resolution people, 27 and a half days, which 21 days is when you start entering a plateau. That's when you start developing a habit.
Yeah.
But it can be longer than that, because if you take a look at the stat for people that are going to gyms and signing up to deal with their weight, exercise and eat better, most of those people quit after 27 and a half days. Okay. So what happens when the motivation is gone? Because, and let me tell you something, when I was bodybuilding for competition, I was not motivated as much as you think I should have been. So how do you think we got through that? How do you think people get through that because losing weight it's a marathon. Bodybuilding is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And yet so many people after 27 and a half days, they've done that sprint. They quit. Mm-hmm. But to get true life, lasting result, whether it be for food or to be able to be in a spot as a bodybuilder where you can produce and reproduce a training result at will, mm-hmm. or a nutritional result. Okay. So how do you get people to that point? You see what I mean? I almost think that the average bear is at a huge disadvantage, because if they don't go through these steps that I'm talking about, not only do you have to have the motivation, the fire in your ass to start it, which a lot of them do,
yeah,
but you have to be willing to realize that it's a marathon, it's forever. Mm-hmm. And then the third thing, which is I think the most difficult for most people, is discipline.
'Yeah.
And without discipline, you will not be successful. It doesn't even matter.
Very true. In any aspect of your life.
So, again, maybe we can't. We're probably not figuring anything really out and answering that question directly. But these are some of the things that have to be a part of that. If you're that person that in this case is going to lose weight and you're wondering why you don't, it's probably has to do with something that we've just talked about today.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, and you have to be willing to celebrate the baby steps that you make. Mm-hmm. And how many people do well? I've seen it. You've seen it in our own studio. They're going well, and all of a sudden they give up. Yeah,
they're doing really well, and they get really comfortable with the body that they have, even though it's not their goal. But they get so happy because these results that they have are amazing. They're more confident. And then they're like, okay, I'm going to slow down a little bit. Maybe I don't have to be so strict. Maybe on the weekends I can eat a little bit more. And then they just slowly watch it come back and come back and come back. I mean, it's happened to me multiple times, which makes me an even better trainer because I watch my clients start to go through it. And it's like, no. Don't get to that point. Let's keep going. And you have to move forward and talk them through it because if not, they're just going to slip.
But it's almost, it's like the opposite of what they should be doing.
Yeah.
You're thinking, how the fuck can you're really getting into, you're really starting to make progress right now. How many people, I've seen over the years, so many people, they get to that point is when they quit. I've had some people quit. Not just slow down, quit. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because they didn't have that third component. They didn't have that discipline. Wasn't there. Their motivation left. Mm-hmm. And it always will. Motivation will be, it's tricky, because then what happens with a lot of people? They get on this yo-yo. That's just motivational, different phases of motivational and having no motivation. It's like in that pain and pleasure, everything that we've talked about, responding to pain and pleasure. And all of a sudden, the next thing you do, and most people are like this, they find themselves on a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
So, we never said that during Fishbowl that we were going to come up with a black and white answer, because in most cases there aren't black and white answers. It's kind of gray.
True.
And I just think that you somehow have to be able to look in that mirror and be honest with yourself. And then I think some of the stuff that we've talked about is it's the ingredients that you need that you put into your own recipe.
Yeah.
Motivation has to be greater than this is we're exiting out of this show and we're going to leave it with the motivation has to be greater than the obstacle, but the obstacle has to be greater than the motivation and the obstacle. The discipline has to be greater than the motivation and the obstacle.
Yeah, that can make a lot of sense.
So with that being said, this trainer, why don't you try some of this stuff on your clients?
Oh, I do. And they're still going. But the good thing is they acknowledge it. They know that they're doing it. Once I point it out, then they can see it. They didn't see it until I pointed it out. But then they get settled back in. It's definitely a conversation I have to have with them, which I wish I didn't have to, but you have to have those conversations sometimes.
Okay. Well, I think that's all for Fishbowl today.
Sounds great.
Until we meet again.
Yes.
Fishbowl.
Okay.